Hello, my friends. This is about where we were last together. You can see here we had the win against Chapecoense, and then we drew against Gremio. I haven't looked. GRE was the draw, the bold draw there, and you go like, wow, like that's quite the turn of form. I mean, look at the top half above the July 22nd game, right above that, right? So that's a loss, and then everything else is a win or a draw, but above that, it's almost exclusively losses. You're like, wow. So if I said, okay, if that's the run we're on, and then the run continues like so. Like, again, we lost to BRA. Yes. Yes, they finished sixth. They came in second last season. And we lost to Flamengo, who finished third this year. And also, ooh, yikes, won the league 4 years running. So good for them. And everything else is a win or a draw. You'd be like, surely that team has catapulted themselves up the table. And then you'd see this. I mean, we're in eighth, so I'm not saying we didn't catapult ourselves up the table, right? Like, we definitely are in a much better position than we were. We didn't get relegated on 39 points. Go on then, 61 points. But I'm like, I'm just a little surprised. Like, it's almost like it felt like we got up to eighth, and just like, even though we kept winning games or drawing in the occasional loss, like, we were always 6 points away from the Copa Libertadores, which is really disappointing. I mean, the board's not disappointing. It's not really disappointing, but like, for me, I'm like, it just felt like, what was I supposed to do? Like, win every game? I guess so. If we'd won those 2 games that we lost, we'd be on 67 points, which, again, I'm sorting rules. We probably still would have been 6th, but it's like, fair. Like, we didn't win every single game, but like, man, we had a really good run and ended up finishing 8th. I guess that's okay, wouldn't you say? What is interesting, though, is it's not like Marcelo Ryan came off the boil. We scored 20 goals in this run here, and he scored 8 of them. So that's still a pretty good return, right? You get Lucas Rodriguez here a couple times. He had a penalty in the 91st minute. He finally scored one. We get a goal here. Mateus scores a goal. Lucas Rodriguez scores another goal, and again, that's the penalty. Daniel is back from injury and playing. We kind of ran into like some pretty severe injuries. So let's kind of take a walk through that. You could tell in this game, this is probably the biggest one, right? So, Euler picked up a knock in the game against OPE, which I definitely remember, sure. But then in this game, Euler goes out. We'll take a look here. Wait, oh, I can't. Why I can't click that, but I can click view match. That makes no sense now, does it? In the 64th minute, it said he could go 75 minutes after the knock, and I was like, cool. I was getting ready to sub him out, and he comes off with a red injury. And then I subbed in Lirio in his spot, and literally 9 minutes later, this happens. And it's just one of those things that doesn't seem as egregious in the highlight from the animation standpoint, which should be improved. But apparently it was a bad tackle. Now, that looked like they weren't even together, right? Like, but both players got hurt, and then they asked me something after the game about it. So it must have been a pretty rough tackle. And so immediately Lirio goes out with torn knee ligaments for like 3 months. In some ways, I wasn't terribly disappointed because he's been all right. And he's not a winger. He's an inverted, right? Like, I don't want to play him as a winger, and he's an important player. So it's kind of like, that gotta save me from playing him any further. But I feel bad. You don't want players getting hurt. I will take you through the goals. We're going to do kind of another one of those. It's been really interesting, I will say, as a content creator. Like, I'm used to, like, play 4 games, record an episode. And this has been more like, play a couple games, play 10 games, which takes a little bit longer, which is why it took a little bit longer for this episode to come out. And it just, as a heads up, it's going to take probably 2 days, maybe 3 days for me to get the transfer window episode, because my goodness, there is so much talent in Brazil. It's like everyone is good. Like, everyone. So it's almost like, oh yeah, kind of pick and choose what you want to spend money on and which players that are homegrown that you want to keep and whatever. But I'm kind of blown away with the talent levels in Brazil. That's my biggest takeaway thus far. But after this is going to be, end of season awards and all that kind of stuff, and the transfer window. So it's coming. It's just going to take me a little while. I will have an FPL, so for you fantasy Premier League players, episode coming out. And I do think that in our community Discord, the link is in the description. You should definitely come join, come say hi. Eduardo Valente, who is one of our awesome Discord members, has set up a Champions League fantasy league. But you got to join that like ASAP. Like at the day this episode comes out is when like you have to sign up for, because the Champions League group stage is starting. So go check that out. We'll have an FPL video out. I may even do like a weekend review of the games that I saw in the Premier League. The horrible injury to Harvey Elliott and all those types of things. So I don't know. I'm kind of batting around some ideas in my head. That was me batting it around. But let's go through some of these goals here, because some of them were quite tasty. So Rodriguez plays it forward to Marcelo Ryan. Look at this. This is what 16 finishing gets you. He's like, I'm going to get it real close. Bang! I mean, it was, you could argue the left center back there could have done a little bit better job closing down. And this one was kind of, it had so much power on it. Mateus, like, the goalkeeper just couldn't do anything about it. Like, he still got his hands to it to slow it down, but it wasn't enough. And this is cheeky. Doink! Like, put a little spin on it. Oh, sorry about that. Just hit my mic. Which I thought that was like. So that, I mean, we definitely smashed them, right? Look at this. 30 shots, 11 on target. I think we had shoot on sight on. Wouldn't you? Yep. Yeah, probably. Then we took on BOT and won 3-1. 15 shots to 11. 10 on target to 5. So, again, better ratio on our side. But we lost Daniel to an injury. What was it this time? I think it was just a tight calf. Maybe a bruised knee. What was this? The game on the 21st? It was a bruised knee. Like a red injury bruised knee. I mean, I know bone bruises can be painful, but it was like, goodness me. Like, we just kind of hit the stretch where that's where having some of that depth on the bench was useful, because it's like, okay, so I was trying to rest Carvajalo, I think, and we played Daniel there, and then he got injured, so it's like we're able to like swap people in and out. Inocencio played, I think, right back cover for Castrillon. We watched the goals here, so we got a goal for us, a goal for them, and 2 goals for us. Let's see what those were like. I had to redo this because the screen was all black. It was great. It's great highlights. I mean, nice little play. Split the center backs. Get it to Marcelo. Nothing too crazy there. Diego Rossi is playing, in the Brazilian Serie A. Serie A. Sorry, Serie A. I got a great comment said it's actually like the Italian one, so I'm going to call it Serie A. If that's wrong, then blame the comments. Daniel down the wing. And then lays it off. I love... That is one of my favorite goals in football. When a player drives in, is like, nah, I'm going to put it into the no man's land for the keeper, and it's a tap in, and Ryan just dribbles around. I mean, I guess, what's the keeper going to do there? I guess he rushed out, but then he, like, tried to make himself big rather than just going and getting it. And it was lovely. And this one, I was kind of frustrated because we had, like, one of those silly tackles in the box. We give up a penalty in the 6th minute, and it wasn't until the 79th minute here. Ball's cleared from the cross. Iske is playing because of injuries. Marcos. Oh, we signed Marcos. Yeah, he scores. I think that was on his debut, maybe. And then we get a penalty there at the end in the 91st minute to seal it away. But I guess I should show you Marcos. We definitely signed him. Now, I tried to do the cheeky thing and sign him for like $100,000. And they were like, we'll take 1.2 million. And I was like, no. So we signed him because he was coming up at end of contract, but you still have to pay the compensation, right? So it was like, what do we sign him for? 650 grand. But when you do that, 625, but then there's potential add-on costs of another 625. Like, and it's like essentially 20,500 per game for 40 games that he plays. And then if he reaches up, like that was like 800 of it. And then if he reaches a certain amount of games, they get another 2. But it was like, I didn't even get a chance to like determine that. It was just like, pay it, which I guess is why they were like, you can either pay it all now or, right, like we'll get our 1.2 million over the coming years. But we signed him, and I think he's a good pickup. It says he's only worth 300 grand. We did put in the maximum release clause for domestic clubs is that we could get for this player. I guess on this wage, maybe it's maybe there's a ratio that I'm not aware of. Like, I don't know, 300 a week, and then 1.2 million is like whatever, 400 times or whatever the ratio is there. But we were able to get the foreign clubs release costs up to 12.5 million. So it's one of those things you kind of go like, I hope they buy him. I hope Everton come in and buy him. Go on then. Do it. Do it. Do it. This one was a barn burner at home against Vasco da Gama. Now, it doesn't look like it. They actually had more shots and more shots on target, but their shots were quite poor. 0.76 expected goals versus our 2.02, and I don't believe any of those are penalty. He says before he shows you 3 penalties, but I don't recall it being possession was even. Like, it was, it's like, I guess we maybe got lucky, but not really. A little cheeky pass behind the leg there. Plays it in. Rodriguez lays it off. It's blocked. It falls to Leandro, who taps it home. Like, you know, okay. But the early, like that was like 5th or 6th minute there. Plays it back. Rodriguez, Euler plays it into space. Ryan runs onto it and does a little bit of this. Everybody do this. My name's Marcelo Ryan, who also got a new contract. So we've signed him up to a new contract. Años sticks with it. And then Euler just like slow. It wasn't hit with enough power, but it was enough to get it past the keeper. And then long ball in, lovely volley finish. I thought he was offside. It apparently was not because it wasn't even reviewed. Then we took on ATP. And again, from an expected goal standpoint, we kind of dominated. And I think this might have been disallowed. Yeah, from Zé Gabriel. But as you can see, again, João Pedro Silva came in. Like, we've had to rotate. It was just one of those things, like people picking up little injuries and knocks. And we also have had Cartagena, there it is, in and out on international duty, which has also been a learning thing. It's like, oh, we don't stop for like international windows. We're just going to keep playing. I guess there's enough talent. Lays it off, Castrillon. I'm a little worried that, rifled shot. Like, we only have one really good right back. Like, we don't even really have a backup. Our backup is our best right center back. So, like, I'm gonna try and target that in the January. I guess it's the January window, the end of season window. It's like the January window, but it's really feels like the summer window, because he's literally the only one. And then these games, oh, it was so gutting. I thought we were in it. I'm not gonna show you all the highlights because those are the games we won against BRA. So they get another penalty in the 6th minute. We score in the 17th minute. We score to go ahead in the 30th minute. You know what? I've changed my mind. Let's show it. All right, here we go. So, early penalty. Boring. I really wish they'd show what led to the penalty. Ryan plays it into awkward space. Leandro has to go chasing, but swings it in, and it kind of works. Like, that shouldn't have worked, but that whole sequence was odd. Again, Castriel, I give up. It's late. I thought I guess that was for Leandro, but he couldn't run onto it. But Euler was there and paying attention. But here they come bouncing back. It's 2-1 at this point because they had the penalty. Lucas swings it in. Lovely stuff. Beats Castrillon. How about that? Did I? For my Brazilian commenters, was that close? Thank you in advance. And then lovely stuff there, just outdoes the left back, I think, to finish the game off. It was so close. And then this one, I was quite proud because we battled back. And it's like, what a way to end the season. Yet your final goal of the season, when you're drawing against the team that was below you one place in the standings, who definitely played better than you did at their place, but you get a 93rd minute. This is the second time this has happened. This save with, I think, this club, where it is cleared off the line. So Euler to Escobar, swings it in. Daniel kind of deflected. Nothing really the keeper could do there. Luis here swings it in. Doinkage falls, but then everyone goes chasing the ball and ignores the guy that is wide open. Great stuff there. Headed goal. They're ahead 2-2. Here we go. The dying minutes of the game. Euler comes in, swings it, and then just an awful attempt at a clearance. And it goes in. It's like, and it was like, whistle, end of season. Like, the referee had enough there. You could tell by the ratings. We played terribly. But that's kind of how we wrapped up, my friend. So I'm obviously, in the vision of the board, amazing, because we, avoided relegation. I think you could say that quite comfortably. What is that? 22 points clear. And really, I kind of wonder, right? Like if you take this kind of form, right? Like that's pretty darn even. Okay, include include the first loss. We'll own that. We'll own that loss. Okay. And you apply it. Oh my gosh! Look at all the gosh. But you come up here and you apply it here. Couple Libertadores, qualification next season, and then we bounce. Like, thanks, see you later. I'm out. It's been fun. Let me kind of tell you where my head's at from a squad standpoint. Again, we have too many players. Like, way too many players down here. Even some of these up here obviously have not played as much for us. So, looking at the starting 11, okay, let me take you here to the tactics. We did bounce back and forth between the 4-2-3-1 and the 4-3-3, and it worked pretty effectively, but it was really based on the availability based on injuries. Again, like, Daniel is not really a right winger, right? Like, we've been playing him there because we've had some knocks. But some variation, and again, Lucas Rodriguez has got a broken wrist, so that's why he's not in. So, Rodriguez, Mateus, Ronaldo, Cartagena, and Daniel make up this part of the pitch. So whether it's a 10 or a 6, and then the two midfielders, right? So that's where we get that rotation, and I'm happy with those players. Leandro, I'm happy with, and we've got other players. Now, Aleson is leaving, so we could drop him. And I'm trying to get rid of that guy. There's not really anybody... Oh, he's just like, I got to get them more game time. Like, Ivaldo, you could argue, is 18, but I'm trying to play him more as a striker because his crossing is an 8 and he's left-footed, and he'd have to play inverted. Maybe as a 10. Lirio can play on the right as a Raumdeuter. I just got to roll the R there. I apologize. Daniel can provide cover. Igor Inocencio could play there. João Pedro Silva could play there, and that's one of our youngsters here, but he's definitely left-footed, so he's gonna be he's gonna be rotating on the left wing. So it's kind of like, meh. Like we could try and train this guy over here, but this crossing's still a 10. So like maybe we could use a right winger. Then we got left wing. It's interesting to me because I know like the star ratings are based off of different coaches' opinions and also based on role ability. Euler is 3 to 3.5 star, but he's been quite good for us as the new signing that we didn't sign. 7-1-8 with 4 goals, 3 assists, and 13 total appearances, 11 of those being starts. He's going to be our left winger. But when you look at the report, it actually says Lucas Rodriguez, Lirio here, second, and Leandro, the right winger, are better. And then Daniel is close behind in 5th place. So we've got options there. Like, we definitely played Lucas Rodriguez on the wing a couple times just due to injuries, and he did quite well, right? Now, against not at the top of the table competition, right? But an 8.0 with a goal and assist, and a 7.6 and a 6.8, and the 7.6 also had a goal. That's pretty tasty, right? So, like, we've got depth there. From a striking standpoint, I know this guy's bravery is a 3, but my goodness. This is what was throwing me off when we were, not at the very, very end, but like midway through that run. It's like he's scored his 28th goal of the season. And I'm like, what? Well, it's also because it's 21 in league, 8 in the Bahia State Championship, 2 in the Brazilian Cup, 5 in the Northeast Regional Championship. Gives you a total of 36. But still, like, that's a ton of games. That's too many games, in my opinion. So I want to see what the boards say next year about like the state championship and the Northeast Regional Championship, because I definitely think that's like where you rotate heavily your like reserves players or your substitute bench, right? Like get them some games. Like there's no reason this guy should be playing that many games. I don't know. It just seems like a bad idea to me. But new contract, important player. I think he was on like 2.6 grand a week as a squad player, up to 7 grand. Again, we got his release clause up to 40.5 million domestic only, which makes it interesting because his actual value is 4.9 million. But it's essentially like a hands off to everybody. Like, go away, don't be bothering my striker. And they've loaned him out to the 3rd division the year before. That just seems like crazy talk to me. But maybe he just needed to develop. Maybe that's where he picked up his 16 dribbling. I know I said his finishing was really good, but his finishing is only a 12. Maybe it's the dribbling, which enables the easy finishing. But, you know, we have Lirio, who's 28, and an important player and gonna want minutes. I'm kind of tempted to sell. He just doesn't seem striker to me. Like, it says he's a winger, but then it says, like, obviously he knows this role really well, but he's a 10. Like, it just doesn't seem like a good option, and Leandro is the backup. So again, we have a dearth of talent, you know, below that, right? Against like Elvaldo. Again, his finishing is an 8, but like he's also 18, so I'm like, for a guy who doesn't want actual minutes, like maybe that's like we have enough of a rotation that we can get away with that. Escobar is going to be our left back. It's actually that's wing back. Yeah, it actually doesn't even say Sato is on this list. This is, you can't see. I'm not going to move. Joinho and Euler are the second and third options here. And so with that being said, okay, Escobar, where is he? Sato, I think he's Philippines. Yep. We're gonna just try and get rid. He's wanted by 2 MLS clubs, Sporting KC and Inter Miami. Even if it's for 100 grand, right? Like, we picked him up on a free. They picked him up on a free when they were in the second division. He's fine, but he takes up a foreign player spot, and he's 29. So, like, get rid. And then I think we have, wait for it, we have another option in the youth system. I'll show you our full youth intake here in a second. I think it's this Murilo Gabriel, maybe? Nope. No. I'm gonna have to find it. Found him. He's on loan at Tom Shoes. Mateus. I mean, we're talking about the perfect name. Mateus Baia, right? He plays for Baia. That's perfect. 7 of 4 in the division below us with 18 total appearances, a goal, and an assist. And he looks to me, I'm not saying he's as good as Sato, but like it's pretty close to being Sato, and he's got some potential ability left in him. And he's Brazilian, so he doesn't take up a foreign player spot. That seems to make a lot of logical sense to me. Sorry, I was searching. I know there's another kid around here. From a center back standpoint, we got Patrick William, Juninho, Bueno, and Bruno. Bueno is probably going to go, just because we don't need another center back at $6,500 a week that wants minutes, and he's worth $1 million, and he's concerned. Now, I don't know how that's going to happen, since, you know, the club just bought him for $1.4 million. So we might be forced to play him. Like, maybe we get rid of, we loan Bruno, but Bruno looks good. I don't want to get rid of Bruno. We paid $240 for him, and he's worth $3.1 million. Like, walk me through that math, AI. Like, goodness me. And I know they're expecting us to play more center backs with like a 5 at the back, but we're not gonna. So, not real sure what to do there. We might just take a loss on him if he'll actually leave, unlike our goalkeeper. But then again, we got this Marcos kid, can provide cover in the midfield. I'm not saying he's a starter, right? But 2.5 stars, like, you play him, I think he's going to get there. This guy can help cover DM, right back. Like, he might go. He's just kind of all right. You know, he's just all right. You have to say it that way. João Pedro Silva, like I said, is going to be backup left winger. Alvaro is a 26-year-old that we will probably get rid of because he just hasn't played. I'm just trying to clear up some space here on the squad, because then we still have these players that, okay, Aguero, the contract is after 15 matches, they pay us $487. Now, he's got the whole second half of the season in Israel, but like, we need him to get 9 more games, and they haven't been using him a lot. So it's not great. So we got all these players on loan. I'm not going to go through every single one of them, but I'm really hoping to get rid of Rivadeneira. Yes, Steven. Why did I go for the last name? The surname, if you will. Why did I do that? But like, I'm just frustrated by the whole situation. Like, there's been multiple teams come in, and he's been like, I don't feel like leaving. I'm like, but you said you'd take a loan, son. Aleson is leaving. We also have Lucas Roca, so he probably goes. So maybe that's how we get some game time for Bueno and Bruno, is this guy goes. We got another right back that we might keep around to have an actual other right back. Might be an idea. That's kind of where we're at, my friends. So again, I don't even really know if it matters to give you the signing of the season, player of the season, all that kind of stuff. I do think, in all fairness, okay, obviously, you got to give player of the season to the guy with 36 goals. What? 36 goals and 4 assists. But I do think Ribeiro, yes, Ribeiro, I doubted myself there. Coming straight in, 19 appearances, 90 minutes a game, on a 7.15 average rating, is a good pickup at 33. Gave us 8 clean sheets. You know, like, not bad. Not bad, if you ask me. Worth 1.2, we paid 750. I don't think we're actually going to get anything out of that from a transfer value standpoint, but not bad. I do want to check. What was his name? Kawa. Atalanta, fringe player. He also gave us 6 goals before he left in the league. So, you know, total of, well, okay, the 34 goals total was not just for the league, but 1 start, 3 subs, 6.3. He's 19. So, like, for Atalanta, he's like a prospect, right? A fringe player. You know, get him in every once in a while, see if we can turn him into something. They paid 2.7. He's with 1.5 right now, so we'll have to see how that pans out. But it's just like, you hate to see a guy. It's like you could have bought him and loaned him back to us. Like, activate the release clause, might keep him till the end of the year. But no, you wanted Marcelo Ryan to get 36 goals, and I thank you for it, Atalanta. I was kind of hoping Patrick DeLuca had done a little bit better. He's on a 6.68 at Mirasol, which is in the division below us. 5 starts, 8 subs, not exactly lighting it up. I was hoping he'd develop into like a holding mid backup. He's still got time, obviously. But again, we still got all these players coming back on from being on loan. But when you look at it, sorry, my head's in the way. 650 for Marcos, up to 1.3 million, really. Ribeiro for 650, rising to 850. How close are we getting? Okay, it's currently cost 750. We're gonna reach the 850. Those are our 2 signings. We didn't sign Euler or Bueno, and everything else is before that, right? So I think, 2 good signings, 1 for the immediate, 1 for the future. I'm gonna go do my squad clean out now and figure out like, you have too many players. This is what we've learned for me in Brazil. You have too many players because you can only register 40 players. That every time it was like somebody came back from either an injury or like, I don't know, it kept asking me to register the team and assign a squad number. And every time, like, if I hit auto number, which I am want to do, it's like, you can't auto number or out of numbers. And I'm like, because we loaned somebody out or something like that. So I have to have it go to clear numbers and auto number. So I'm hoping that meant like everyone still got their original number minus the 1 person that got loaned out, right? It's like the loan jersey got passed along, but who knows? I didn't watch it that closely. So is there anything you would have done differently? And then, oh gosh, like Copa's, so what? The Copa what? Oh, we don't have anything to go off of. I like some expectations. Like, when are the games? Oh, I can't click on it. Oh no. I guess we'll find out together. Not next episode. Next episode is going to be transfers, but the episode after that, unless it starts in the middle of the transfer window. Hit the like button, my friends. Definitely hit subscribe. It's down there. What do you think? Is 8th, is that a good result? On the final day, we made 240,000 by drawing with the team that was below us. So, like, that's worth something, right? We'll see you next time. Thanks for your patience with the content delay. We'll see you then. Scratch that. I didn't show you the youth transfers, or the youth intake. Please hold. Just look at this youth intake. It is just disgusting. And it's like, is this just what managing in Brazil is like? I don't know. We've got every reason to be excited about Marcos Vinicius, who has the potential to be one of the most gifted players to come through the youth ranks at Bahia in recent years. All right. Look at that kid. That is 16 years old already, 1.5 stars with 4 or 5 star potential. Professional personality. Lovely stuff, that. Van? Is that how you say it? Leave a comment. Determined. 5'3". He's the Leo Messi of Brazil. Determined. 5'3". Pretty good technique. I'm just saying, is he the Leo Messi? Maybe that's the thumbnail. Is our youth intake the Leo Messi? And only people who made it to the end of the episode got to see it. Alex, just Alex, goalkeeper. First touch is so bad. Probably not going to make it. Kleber? Driven, 19. I love this team. Determination monsters. You love to see that. Yulton is a fairly determined left winger. So it's just like crazy, some of this stuff. Again, I'm not saying all these are worldies, but like we have a ton of really talented prospects like already at the club. And up here's another one that just strolled in. It's like, goodness gracious. All right. We'll see you next time. Bye-bye.